Hello.
Hello.
We're live.
We're live.
Morning.
Wake up, Julian.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just contemplating my navel.
It's early on a Saturday morning, this.
It is, yeah.
So, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Today, the show will be sponsored by FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, which is brilliant. Lovely multi-year sponsorship deal with
Brilliant.
FTX, which is fantastic.
Didn't we do well?
We've done brilliantly well. So today, Brogan, what do we have?
Got a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of tweets, actually. The news, a bit like last stream, always just comes flooding in with new...
Yeah, that was our agenda for today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty
Again.
much, yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it wasn't quite written on paper, but it did fall out the back.
Well,
We started trying to put some articles together and then it all blew up again.
Yeah.
we did. Well, it all
We
changed.
can't keep track of it, can we?
No. What time last night did we say it needed to change? 10 o'clock? 9
Yeah.
o'clock?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So today we are covering...
Aftermath.
Yeah. Sweeping up.
Continuation, maybe.
Yeah. I think we're in the midst of the capitulation
Yeah.
still. Sam Bankman-Fried, there's breaking news on him, but people need to stay tuned for.
Yes.
And we've also got some big alpha being dropped, Julian, at the end of the show. We all like alpha, don't we?
We love Alpha.
Do we like alpha?
I don't know what it
He
means.
doesn't know what it means. Insider tips.
Insider trading.
No, tips. Not trading. There was a massive Twitter Spaces, which is basically a big online chat today, that had...
I arrived with you watching or participating.
I was participating.
Yeah.
It had Frank de Gods in there. It had Elaine Musk in there. It had some CEOs of exchanges. Some people from Binance were in there. And it was basically a coming together of all the minds to do with crypto. So there's some big news for that. But before we start, and I don't want to ask really about Bitcoin, do you?
No.
Just skip it.
Got my allergies
No.
are back again.
No.
Whoa.
Bitcoin's like that man that's had too much to drink at 2 o'clock in the morning on the way home. He keeps falling over, walking into lampposts,
Yeah.
walking into the post box and falls asleep at the
Yeah.
bus stop. Where are we, Brogan?
And when he gets home, the sole of his shoe's flapping.
Exactly.
Give us a second.
You should
It's
notice
fine.
I've got no crisps today either.
As you can see by the FTX logo,
I've got no crisps today.
you've got no. What's good? Well, you're not half cut like you were on Wednesday.
No, that's true.
There we go. Bitcoin's up. All right.
Is Bitcoin up?
No, the
No, he's
screen's
put it
up.
Oh, my heart leapt. I could feel my
do we want to guess?
pounding in my
Do we
chest.
want to guess?
Oh, I'm going to guess at Bitcoin.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. 17,000.
17.2.
16.8.
Oh,
What did you say?
17.2.
Oh,
It's very sad.
yeah. I mean, it's not even crabbing anymore. Is
No,
it?
it's not.
What's the what's
Trampolining now.
It's not even
No,
trampolining.
it's not, is it?
I'd say it's falling down the stairs backwards.
But they're not steep steps, are they?
No, very
Which
shallow.
is good.
So it's a slow fall.
It's a roll down a park bankment.
Yes. And every time it stops, and you think it stopped.
Yeah,
It slides a little further in the mud.
yeah.
And then rolls a few
Gets
more.
a little bit more traction.
Yeah. Like that cheese competition.
That's
The
fast.
cheese rolling.
Yeah, I'm never going that.
Yeah.
Never going to take part in that.
Yeah, no, neither am I. So, okay, well, I think. And what have you? Anything you've got to say about Bitcoin?
Me? No.
No, Brogan.
Sorry, I was just
Absolutely
saying
nothing.
the thing. No.
Okay. Right, where should we start?
The one on the bed is where we should start.
Is it the word on the bird already?
Yes, and it's only a couple, or 2 lines even, or a few words, by Sam Bankman-Fried himself.
Are you going to read them out?
I'm
Are
gonna
you
get
going
them
to
on.
swear in front of us?
No.
When did he tweet this? Do we know? Earlier this week?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
He has said, number 1, I'm sorry. That's the biggest thing. I effed up. I should have done better.
Is that because he's limited to the number of characters he can use, or is he just not very good?
It's not because he's limited to the number of
It's a bit
characters.
hollow, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's I've got to be careful who I choose as an analogy for this, because I can't use certain people in history. But I would say that saying sorry isn't the start of the road to redemption.
Do you reckon anyone's off themselves from this situation?
Oh dear.
Oh, I thought about it though. Come on, think about it.
It always happens.
Yes.
And
does
it's
always
a terrible thing, because there are people that will have lost their life savings.
happen. And there's so much money being, not taken away from this, but like muddled up in this situation. And for him to just go, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
There's a few more things he said under that. If you scroll down, you don't have to read them all out. But hasn't he mentioned the fact that he didn't realise that the money that was in the big pot happened to be the money of other people's money?
It's easy done, though. It's easy done, that.
Well, I'm not too sure it's that
There's
easy.
often been occasions in my life where I've thought, oh, look there, I'd forgotten I'd got that 18 billion.
So this has all come about because he thought he had a big pot of money,
Yeah.
and then when the accountants, as we mentioned on Wednesday,
The tellers of truth
tellers of truth
for the
maybe
right
not,
fee.
maybe not the whole truth,
Yeah.
but a part of the truth.
Not sure.
And they have pointed to a hole that he didn't realise
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah.
And the bank run happened, as we've mentioned, which we don't need to go over. So should we move on then to the first
article.
article, which is about this?
Yep.
Which article is this?
FTX announcement regarding the Tron credit facility.
And we will explain this to Julian.
Yeah, who are Tron?
It's basically a crypto project.
Doing what? What they wanting to do?
They're just like it's just a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So Tron's a currency.
Yeah.
The same as like Ethereum and Doge and things like that. So it's just a currency
Yeah.
run by a chap called Justin Sun.
Okay. You can still get burnt though. Even if you are Justin Sun.
But what I was going to say that the reason that we're in this situation is because FTX flew too close to the sun.
Yes.
Except in this instance, the sun is saving them, as Brogan is about to inform us.
Yes. Also, one thing. Why is every bubble on our sidebar easy?
Because we're easy like Saturday mornings.
Alright.
Excellent.
So, we are pleased to announce that we've reached an agreement with Tron to establish a special facility to allow holders of TRX, BTC, JST, Sun, and HT to swap assets from FTX one-to-one to external wallets. By providing a set schedule of the amount of tokens to be introduced into the market and the corresponding time, our goal is to provide more clarity to the market, allowing users to make better informed decisions. As part of this agreement, we will be disabling Tron deposits for all users during this period. Initially, $13 million of assets will be deployed to facilitate such swaps. Information on further capital injections will be shared on a weekly basis.
He's lost me there.
I thought he would do.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is a case of Tron not letting the sun go down on FTX.
Right.
So we'll just get that one out there.
Nice.
Except, there is one huge, massive problem with this. They are in Chapter 11,
Yes.
which is insolvency.
Yeah.
And in insolvency, in America, it basically stops creditors from coming in and stripping your company bare,
Yeah.
and it allows the courts to intervene and basically do it in a very formalised manner.
Yep.
But Tron are allowing the holders of their Tron currency to receive a 1-for-1 amount.
So if I've got an account with FTX
Yes,
and I hold Tron,
yes,
they're allowing me to do this.
yes. So the existing Tron
Yeah.
is staying in FTX,
Right.
but if your balance of 850,000 Tron is locked, and what Tron have done is say, we will give you 1-for-1 850,000 Tron in a wallet outside of FTX, knowing that FTX won't allow you to get the funds out. So what this means to me is that as a creditor, as a retail creditor, you're allowed to get your money out, but if you've got Ethereum and Bitcoin,
You
you're
can't.
screwed. Yeah. So I think this legally shouldn't be allowed
No.
because it's wrong. And I know why Justin Sun has done this, because the contagion from this for certain coins is that FTX are going to dump what they've got on the market and depress the price of Tron, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever it is. So Justin Sun doesn't want this to happen.
Mm.
So he's going to allow people to keep the integrity of his project by allowing them to have basically take a snapshot of what they've got in FTX and then make it appear in their Tron wallet or their
Yeah.
MetaMask wallet, whatever. So that's why they're doing it. What do you think?
This all just seems a little bit underhand.
Yeah, it is. Well, underhand. I think it's a case of I'm all right, Jack, for me.
Yeah.
And Justin Sun has got a reputation because he also has a stablecoin called USDD,
Okay.
which is an algorithmic stablecoin, which we're going to get onto later, aren't we, when we talk about USDT being attacked and depegged.
Mhm.
So I think he did this just to, if USDD, if the value of that is based on the value of Tron, and Tron gets dumped, it'll kill his stablecoin.
Right.
So by allowing people to get their Tron out, he's stopping the bank run on Tron, therefore protecting his own back, the Tron network, and his own stablecoin. So that's why this is happening.
How are they physically getting it out, though?
They're not getting it out.
He's just matching it.
Mm.
So is he giving it away for free?
Hmm. Because the 13 or 30
He's
or...
also going to be worth zero.
Yeah. So he's keeping the price of his currency, sorry, the price of his asset stable by matching it. Because
I don't like this.
No, I don't. But he's doing it. He's doing it for his own purposes. But he's making himself look like a saviour.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for him. But unfortunately for other FTX clients that don't hold these coins,
Yeah.
they're screwed, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what have we got after this or on this?
It's the. Let me scroll up. The BlockFi halts withdrawals due to FTX collapse.
Have we got no other shows?
Yeah, I was showing them. Well,
What were they?
being the how the Joe Biden second biggest investment into the Joe Biden fund.
Have you brought them up already?
I've already done it all. Yeah, all four.
But we didn't know about them. How are we supposed to talk about them?
I thought it was just a show thing. That's why it's a show. So you just
No,
talk about it.
you show them and then give the title of it so we can talk about it.
Show him again.
Show them again,
Tell us what you're showing.
because we don't know what you're showing.
Well, I thought it was just a show thing to have in the background.
No, it's a show thing that's shown after the article's read.
This is just illustrating the
It's
actual chaos that's going on at
Yes.
the moment.
So these are supporting documents that you bring
No,
up.
I meant this between us three.
Oh, right, yeah.
This is just like a little small cosm of the debacle that's going on within the whole world of cryptos.
It's so quick, it's difficult for us to put everything down
It
in
is.
legitimate order.
All right. Well, the first one we have is reports of SMS messages and emails being sent by FTX to customers to log into the app and website, which are infected with a Trojan as part of the hack.
Oh, no.
So they've been hacked.
Who do you think's done this, Brogan? This hack?
What's that?
Well, obviously it's on
I
the
don't think
official
we're
app.
accusing you.
We're not accusing you.
No, I know.
It's
But,
obviously on the official app. So
well,
who do you
it's
think?
going to be pretty hard for them for anyone external of FTX
Correct.
to get into this.
So if it's not external,
It's
it's
probably something internal.
internal. And why do
But I
you think they're
wouldn't
doing it?
Disgruntled.
Yeah, get money out. getting the money and they leave. It's going
More
down.
crooks within a crook organisation.
Do you think it's a crook? Do you think it's a good crook, a white hat hack,
No.
or a black hat hack?
Why would they be attacking personal accounts?
Because there's another article we've got about SBF and a backdoor, haven't we?
We do. We haven't gone to that yet.
Yes, we haven't got to that.
Yeah, but this
I'm
individual's not going to give it
refer
all.
to that information yet because we haven't gone over it.
This individual's not going to hack it and then give it back to individuals, is he?
No, but he might be hacking it. to
So what is he
withdraw
going to accumulate it and then spread it out? Average.
He might be bringing the funds out from people's accounts to stop them from being withdrawn by SBF.
Oh.
We don't know yet because
don't.
it's still all up in the air, and we were adding things to this stream 10 minutes before we went live, didn't we? So what's the bit about
I
Biden
would think
then?
it's
Nasty.
yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should think it's nasty until
Yeah.
proven otherwise,
Yeah.
shouldn't we? So what's the thing about Biden?
That's the last one. Well, I'll go to it then.
Oh, well, no, what's the next one then?
FTX had a backdoor. This isn't the okay. It's a tweet about what we're going to talk about later, right?
Yes.
Okay, so breaking: FTX had a backdoor built into its accounting software by SBF, which he used to move billions without triggering alerts to other staff.
So
How can he do that?
can I just refer back to his tweet that this entire
sorry.
show started? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And
But-
while he's saying I'm sorry, he's got a little
But technically,
keyboard over
if you've
here.
got
Yeah.
all these people around,
Plus a million,
Yeah.
plus 10 million. Sorry,
Exactly.
guys.
but if you've got all these techie people around you,
Yeah.
he's not 20 times more techie than they are, is he? How has he built in something without these techie people seeing?
Do you remember when a certain lawyer in Gibraltar was stealing money from his company and his brothers?
Yeah,
And to aid and abet this lawyer, which was a massive high-profile case in Gibraltar,
yeah,
to aid and abet him,
allegedly.
allegedly, there were bank statements made with fake numbers on them
Okay,
to show that those numbers were legitimate.
like Martin Bashir.
Who?
Him that got the interview with Princess Diana, he did the same, didn't
And
he?
Michael Jackson.
Did he do that with him as well?
Yeah.
With his bank statements?
I read his bank statements.
Ah,
I did accuse him of being many things.
yeah, no, but anyway.
So,
Who did the bank statements?
well, I would imagine what in the court case or in this instance.
In this instance.
Sam Bankman-Fried has probably got a system which has a dummy set of figures and an actual set of figures.
So the whole company's in on this, it's just the auditors that aren't.
No, he's the only one in on this.
He can't be.
Well,
Yes, he can.
okay, well,
Technically,
what
how
I
does
would
that
say,
work?
when you have a team of programmers working on a big website or a big system like this, you compartmentalize and fractionalize the team.
Correct.
So it's not every single program is going to know every single part
Nailed on the head.
of the website. So certain sections are going to be dealt by certain teams. So
Correct.
maybe a couple people might know, maybe, but on the grand scheme of things, there's so many employees working there. Only out of all them, there might be a couple knowing,
Yep. Do you
and he's
remember,
probably paying them as well.
do you remember Mr. Ponzi? Mr. Ponzi,
Who's that?
the guy who invented the Ponzi scheme in America.
No, I don't know him.
Okay. Well, he had a big tower block of accountants, fund managers, investment managers, and they went up in levels.
Yeah,
And the further you went up, the more you knew,
yeah.
except for the very top level. And he was the one who knew how little they had in physical cash. And then he filtered that down. Now, if you are Sam Bankman-Fried, and I'm not accusing him of this, but I think he's a criminal, I think he's going to go to prison for a very long time. What he's probably done, like Brogan's just said, is there will be a fake set of figures for how much Tron and how much Ethereum and Bitcoin exists. And it works until there is a bank run.
Yeah,
Now, he might say we've got 50,000 Bitcoin. And there might only be 5,000 on the books. But it doesn't matter,
yeah,
because if people withdraw 4,000, it's all Gucci. It's
Yeah.
all good. All right? It's when there's 20,000 Bitcoin withdrew, which is what happened.
yeah,
And then he was spending all of the other money to keep FTT token alive and keeping it from crashing. So he could quite easily have a fake set of accounts that only he knows about and maybe 2 or 3 people know about,
Yeah.
like Brogan's just said. and the rest of it is just smoke and mirrors. So he's an absolute crook.
Yeah.
I can't see any other way to describe him other than
No.
a crook. And I think saying I'm sorry
Yeah.
is not going to keep him out of prison.
No.
Have we shown the tweet of him of the change he went
Physical
through?
change.
Physical change he went through, leading up to this FTX thing.
Have we got it? Have we got
I
the
can try
picture?
to find it in a minute. Well, we'll go over these two tweets.
What's the next one then?
The next one is, get it up, is the Gary Gensler Sam Bankman-Fried thing.
So,
I'll read it out. The existence of a corrupt relationship between Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Gensler is becoming more and more plausible as more facts come out. Latest, FTX General Counsel used to report to Gary Gensler at the CFTC as his lead counsel.
I'm going to lose my shit on this one. Gary Gensler
GG.
and the SEC,
I'm just giving him his own name. You know, one of these hip new
yeah.
name things.
the snake.
GG.
We'll call him the snake.
Call him GG.
Alright, you call him GG, I'll call him the snake. Or G-Snake. Let's give him a
GG.
rapper name.
We're just going to
G-Snake.
call him GG.
He is supposed to protect consumers.
Yeah.
He is supposed to protect retail consumers.
Yep.
And he is supposed to stop this shit from happening.
Yeah. And he's been done over, hasn't he?
And he's sat on his hands.
Mm.
He's done nothing. He's had years to bring in regulation, which we'll go on about later on, so I'm not going to touch on that point.
You would have thought the association with this chap
So,
should have some kickback, backsplash.
so SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Gary Gensler have been behind everybody's backs trying to write up regulation to basically tie up crypto in a knot in America. This is only in America.
Yeah.
It's not a worldwide thing, but it's a huge market, obviously.
Yep.
And what would happen is this will come out, everyone will go, what a great idea, and they'll implement it in Europe, and they'll implement it in the UK, and crypto will be fucked.
Yeah.
On its arse, dead. So Gary Gensler has done nothing for 2 years but ignore senators, ignore meetings requested by senators, ignored bringing in a crypto Bitcoin ETF, ignored exchanges, not brought any regulation in.
Yeah.
He's done nothing.
But he
And
has been doing things with this chap, hasn't he?
But what they're trying to do is break the industry into a form where it will sit alongside banks.
Yeah.
Crypto companies do not work like banks, which again we'll get onto later. So, is Gary Gensler guilty of, what's the word when you're gross negligence? Yes.
Yeah.
Has he sided with the wrong person? Yes.
Evidently.
And what's that tweet about Biden to explain probably why he sided with this chap?
Alright. SBF was Joe Biden's second biggest campaign donor. Was Joe Biden keeping America's treasury reserves on FTX? I hope not.
Haha,
Ooh.
that was a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Brogan?
What about the
This
SBF and
tweet.
Joe Biden? I'm not too sure. It's interesting. It's definitely like near the end. Obviously, like you said, it's a joke. There's no way American Treasury reserves going to be kept on FTX and crypto.
No. But do you think that
Maybe there was some ties.
which way round do you think it's been? Do you think the government have approached Sam Bankman-Fried
No.
to
No.
aid them, or do you think Sam Bankman-Fried has
Yes.
tried to palm them
Yeah.
with silver?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, he was trying to get a law passed, and some sort of regulation passed.
Yeah.
On Bitcoin thing, where he had
The bit
a million
license.
bit license.
Yeah.
So if it would be any of them options, it would be probably him going to the government, trying to get on their good books, and then
Yeah.
trying to get this law passed.
I agree. 100%.
Mm.
So, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we on to next?
We got on to BlockFi halts withdrawals due to FTX collapse.
Oh.
All right. Well, BlockFi is pausing its services. The evening of November 10th, the company posted an update to its Twitter account indicating that it will halt services. We are shocked and dismayed at the news regarding FTX and Alameda, BlockFi wrote. Over the past several days, a substantial portion of Alameda Research's holdings were revealed to be tied to FTX's FTT token rather than traditional assets.
Which is what we talked about on Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. BlockFi
Obliquely
obliquely,
or opaquely? Which one is it?
I think obliquely.
All right.
Referred to these events as the reason for its services suspension. Given the lack of clarity of the status of FTX.com, FTX US, and Alameda Research, we are not able to operate business as usual, it wrote. BlockFi did not explicitly state whether it had financial exposure to FTX or its related companies. Incidentally, the competing crypto lending firm Nexo said on Tuesday that it had narrowly avoided losses from FTX's collapse. Nexo withdrew certain balances just prior to FTX's collapse and is still operating as usual. It's a shame.
These articles are going out of date.
It's faster than we can actually read them out.
Right, so the Nexo thing.
Yeah.
Nexo apparently withdrew their funds 12 hours before FTX shut down, which smells of either insider trading or they knew what was coming. And the books don't look good because, as somebody pointed out on Twitter literally a few hours ago, it looks like Nexo are the best crypto company at avoiding catastrophe in the industry because they've withdrawn from FTX, they've withdrawn from 3AC, they've withdrawn from here. So either something's up or they genuinely are good at smelling problems. Yeah. So what do you think about BlockFi? Why do you think BlockFi have suddenly paused all withdrawals?
Protection.
Or funding. I mean, if they hold, what was it again? They held their value in FTT or something like that, was it?
I don't know.
I think I'm pretty sure that's what it said on the article. I don't want to be wrong about that. But if they held quite a bit of their value in FTT and then FTX is, gone. I know Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to keep it up. The FTT token, obviously it hasn't worked. It's gone down drastically. Was it at
$3, $4?
Yeah, so obviously that's a big loss for BlockFi, depending on how much value they had in FTT. So I would assume to minimize, people worrying and trying to get money out or whatever it's going to be, they're just going to halt.
It's only what the banks do, isn't it?
Well, that was going to be my question for Julian, which is a follow-on to that. Is, do you think they're doing it to stop a bank run?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe for one second that BlockFi hold any of their assets in FTT, because it wouldn't make any sense. It would make sense to hold it in dollars or Bitcoin or whatever. So do you think they're doing it to stop the bank run, or do you think they're doing it because they've now got a massive hole?
I think it's to stop the bank run. I would imagine.
It's hard to say.
It is. It's a guess.
It's a guess. I'd say it's one or the other.
Yeah.
BlockFi have been on the ropes for a long time, and I think they were bailed out by FTX 6 months ago. We covered this ages ago, and they were bailed out by Sam Bankman-Fried that gave them, I don't know how much it was, a big chunk of cash, which turns out wasn't his in the first place. So it could be maybe the 150 million that was borrowed to BlockFi. Maybe BlockFi have shut the doors because they have to pay that back, and they don't have it to pay back. Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a mess. I mean, do we have some show articles after this one as well?
Yes.
Because I think one of them's to do with Nexo.
Well, the one we have now, right after that article, was trading firm Genesis to get $140 million equity infusion from parent company DCG.
Now, we covered DCG, didn't we? On a special. DCG are in bed with Google. They're the biggest crypto company there is. Not exchange, but crypto company. Nope.
Who are the Genesis guys? What do they do?
They're a trading company.
Yeah.
So they do.
What was it to do with when we talked about, was it Alphabet? Or something, which is like...
Alphabet have invested in the digital group.
Yes.
Digital currency group.
Yes.
So everything is... The problem... The reason...
It's very interlinked, isn't it?
This is what I was going to say. The reason that this industry is so messed up right now is everybody is in bed with everybody else.
Yeah.
right? And it's like a spider's web.
Yeah.
And people are cutting the strands, and things are just pinging up everywhere. So, Galaxy Trade, they had exposure to FTX. It was a Genesis, sorry. They had a big exposure to FTX, which is now that hole's been filled.
Yeah.
So we're good on that one. But this is the first set of cases. The fallout hasn't really come about.
Were we mentioning 130 links or something like that we read?
Yeah, we did.
In an article, or were it 178?
A lot.
When you read after that.
As there's a lot of companies in bed with FTX.
Yeah.
But the problem is, a lot of them haven't.
Is this bad news for the Bored Ape thingy people?
Are you glad?
Because they're linked as well, aren't they?
Allegedly, 50% of all their funds were in FTX.
But the price has not altered on them, all looking.
Because they probably haven't made the announcement.
And Startless had some of their value in FTX.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the town hall last night on Discord, and Michael Wagner was there saying that they had $15 million, which was about 12 months of their runway in FTX, because they were using FTX as the off-ramp. Because people forget that FTX, Coinbase, those companies, you can connect them directly to your bank account. So you're not just using them as an exchange, you're using them as an on-ramp and an off-ramp. So they've lost 15 million on their own. Then you've got these guys. I mean, the whole is 8 billion. So there's 8 billion worth of debt to appear from somewhere. Yuga Labs have probably lost 20, 50
There's more holes here than in Blackburn, Lancashire. A little bit of a Beatles comment, that one. Yeah, it's for the older audience.
Oh, yeah. You?
No idea.
Oh, you?
You don't know either?
No. What's that?
Is it not from A Day in the Life?
It might be. I'm not a huge
so
Beatles
many
fan.
thousands holes in Blackburn, Lancashire.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lyric in the
I prefer
thing.
take that.
Jesus.
Right, what's the next show? Do we have another show?
No, we only have one from there.
That's fine then.
Then we've got the crypto veterans thing, USDT.
So we're kind of moving into the realms now of positive news.
That's good.
Yeah, but we've got to be very tentative because it might have all changed while we've been doing this.
We've got some positive news now, and yeah, I won't. You take it away.
All right,
take it away and shoot it.
No, it's good news. No, shoot it.
We don't like good news on this channel.
We do at this moment in time. We're looking for some scraps.
We're like the opposite of Russell Howard.
You can't have too much salt.
Yeah, on scraps.
Yeah, no, because you have all this bad news. You can't. It's like think about.
Oh, were you using salt in the word of the youths?
No, just.
Oh, you're putting salt onto my scraps.
Or like tomato sauce.
Oh, you mean putting salt on the wounds?
No,
scraps from your fish and chip shop.
You can't put too much salt, or it's gonna taste crap. You can't have too much bad news.
Right, can't have too much bad news.
I think you need plenty of salt on scraps. I've never been a fan.
No.
Anyway, carry on.
USDT. How are we surviving USDT?
Crypto veterans praise USDT highly amid market drama. Why? As all mainstream cryptocurrencies were bleeding in the last few days, many crypto users decided to increase the share of stablecoins in their portfolios. Makes sense. For many crypto holders, US dollar Tether, USDT, the largest stablecoin by market capitalization, was a safe haven. I have to admit, I've been very critical of Tether in the past, and their transparency is still not nearly what I think an asset-based coin should have. But especially given what's happened to so many other big money hotshots this bear, they've exceeded my expectations. This was Vitalik Buterin himself. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
The big V.
Yeah.
You know who he is?
Yes.
Founder of Ethereum, for those watching.
Big butt.
Yeah. Is he?
Short name.
Big butt, I like that.
Oh, okay.
Big butt.
Instead of big bird, big butt.
No,
that's going to stick, that.
Vic.
Oh, I thought you said big butt.
What did you say?
Vic butt.
Vic butt. Vic butt, not big butt.
You hear what you want to hear.
Yeah, but big butt's a better name for him. Because he's like a rake. He's about 5 stone wet, that lad. Have you seen the picture of him with his fanny pack under his pants?
Yeah.
Makes him look like he's hiding bananas in his underpants. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. And he dressed. What did he dress up as a few years ago? He dressed up as a Pokemon. Your life is in this man's hands. He's in charge of the second biggest cryptocurrency in the world.
Unbelievable.
And he dresses like a Pokemon and hides bananas down his pants.
There's a lot to be said for judging this entire industry by what people now wear. It's got equal as much validity as everything else.
Exactly. Sorry, so carry on.
Yeah.
Let's listen to what Big Butt's got to say.
That's how I like to buy it.
Don't say his name. Resist.
CTO of Tether and Bitfinex. Tether Limited increased its share of cash and its equivalents to a historical high of 82%.
Is that Paolo Alderino?
Yes, and I've got
Yes.
Miko, CEO and founder and co-founder of Trading Strategy and former local Bitcoin CTO, admitted that it would take a massive amount of money to put Tether in an FTX-style liquidity crunch. He stressed that in 2022, there are no markets in which whales can short USDT to make its issuers collapse. A well-balanced portfolio of reserves makes the entire system sustainable. Lying is becoming increasingly hard.
So, for the audience,
Yeah.
Julian, what is a stable coin?
It's attached to
No.
an actual asset. Oh.
We have a short.
Do we need to get to the short first?
Oh, that's a good idea,
No.
actually. Yeah, we have a.
We already have a short. Explain what a stablecoin is.
Oh, yes.
We can
So
refer
you-
our audience to.
Duplicate the tab. Go to our playlists. You'll see Crypto Academy
Yes.
and look for stablecoin, and I should explain it.
Which Julian read out quite eloquently
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, didn't he?
Yes.
Do we wait for them? Do we tell them to pause?
Yeah. Let's wait.
Do we tell them to pause first?
Let's wait 30 seconds or 15 seconds.
Quite good news, that bit, though, isn't it, today? Of everything else that's gone on.
It's great news.
They've held their end up.
I think that's long enough.
That's
Yeah,
long
yeah,
enough.
That's
Yeah.
long enough. So then, Julian,
Yeah,
I'll ask you the question.
yeah,
What is
yeah.
the pound and the dollar backed by?
Gold.
Nope. Not since the 1970s.
Nothing then.
Correct. There is zero backing the US dollar,
All based on
trust.
smoke and mirrors and trust.
Smoke mirrors, trust, and political stability.
Yeah.
That does not work
No.
in crypto.
No.
It's algorithmically based, so you can't have something pretend to
It's
be
not
anything.
algorithmically based. They're algorithmic stablecoins. A normal stablecoin like USDT is physically backed by the US dollar.
Which means it's not backed by anything.
Correct. Algorithmic stablecoins are backed by other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't have. Okay, well, as in a website's algorithm, it's all algorithms. Any like tech had algorithms behind it. What I'm saying is anything. We'll find any digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not have anything behind it.
I don't know what you mean.
So, like you said, either some of the stablecoins is backed by other cryptocurrencies,
Mm-hmm.
or it's backed by gold.
No, stablecoins like USDC and USDT, they are physically backed in a bank account by US Treasury bonds. So for example, there's $40 billion in USDT equivalent sitting in US Treasury bonds. So,
like a set of scales.
like a set of scales.
So it's backed.
And I think they've proved about 95% of USDT is backed by physical dollars. An algorithmic stablecoin, and there's a good distinction here, I'm glad you've brought this up, that's backed by other cryptocurrencies. And the problem with that is that over time, the price of Bitcoin goes up and down, Ethereum goes up and down. So if you had $100 million backed by Bitcoin in November last year, you'd only have $20 million worth of Bitcoin backing it now because the price has fallen. And that isn't a problem unless there is a run on that currency, which is what happened to UST and also what happened to USDD, which is the one that's run by Tron.
Yeah.
And the reason he doesn't want his Tron to fall in value, which is why he's doing this 1-on-1, is to stop a run on Tron, which crashes the price of Tron, which will then in turn crash the price of his stablecoin, and we're all back to square one with no money. So it's all a pile of ooh. So we can't have cryptocurrencies backed by nothing, and we can't have algorithmic stablecoins anymore because they just don't work. They could have worked if the price kept going up forever, but it never did.
Yeah.
So in this instance, it's great news. People thought that USDT was going to depeg, so it would go from $1 to say 90 cents.
It hasn't though, has it?
But it hasn't. So we've live stress tested USDT, and what's going to come out the other end of all this shit show is a set of exchanges, which we're going to get onto in a bit with proof of reserve.
Yep.
A set of exchanges which have been stress tested.
Yep.
USDT and USDC, which have been stress tested.
Yep.
And everything else, like FTX and whoever else goes bust, they'll have gone bust because, like we said on Wednesday, they're trying to run crypto companies like banks.
Yep.
And as we said before we came on air, what did we say? What is it? 1% fractional reserves. 1% of a bank's assets need to be held in cash. FTX had about 10% of cash reserves. They still went bust.
Yeah.
So unless it's 1 for 1 or more, we're going to have the same thing happening over and over again, and it comes back to Gary, the Snake Gensler,
GG.
not bringing in regulation, which we're going to get onto.
Yep.
Sorry. Next.
Well, we've got an issue with this next article.
Oh no! Is this the one where it's taken off all the highlighting again?
It's so rough. Read the title out.
Which is the article?
FTX turmoil increases scrutiny of industry, something institutional investors have been waiting for.
Again, everyone's on the sideline. Gary's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick a couple of bits out from it?
Is that not saying that people have been waiting for this to happen to solidify things?
No, this has happened as a result of there not being regulation.
Well, it has, yeah. But now this sort of event should surely force it to happen. It's what everybody wants.
We're going to end up with worse regulation than is needed. But we'll go on to that after.
I can read out some of the quotes or something.
Let take it away.
I'm not going to go to the article on here, I'm just going to read them out. So one quote here is, this event will be used as a cornerstone to spark new crypto regulations, which is good for the healthy development of the industry. A more comprehensive regulatory framework has the potential to protect long-term investors from fraud and other risks. Co-founder of Cake DeFi. Another one, when you combine the spending power of younger generations with the notion that banking relationships tend to be sticky, and the fact that today's youth have embraced digital assets, then it becomes clear why so many institutional investors are no longer holding back from entering this new asset class. Another one there. That's pretty much.
So after this article, is proof of reserve next after this?
Yes.
Okay. Right, so that's the one where we can keep the information. So, question to Julian then.
Yep.
So, we need regulation, don't we?
Yep.
Do you think regulation would have stopped what has just happened to FTX, and would have stopped what happened with Luna, and would have stopped what happened with Celsius?
If you've got people in it for the wrong reasons, these things are always likely to happen. But the more regulation you've got, the better chance you've got of actually catching them early.
What would you say?
Obviously, depending on what the regulation is, but to some extent, I suppose, like, depending on either, how much the exchange would have to hold in terms of total value, like obviously with FTX holding 10% only, that would make a big discriminant depending on the success or the stability of an exchange. So I think there are some things a regulation or regulatory framework could do to help, but as Julian said, things will always happen. So I think regulation would help.
See, I think it would have stopped all three things.
If you get the right regulation, yeah. But it's also got to be introduced early enough.
Celsius failed because of poor accounting and spending people's money, which would have been stopped with. Well, I take your point of it would have happened. It would have happened sooner with less damage.
Yeah.
Because they still would have tried to get away with it, and the regulators would have stopped it. So, I think the regulation would have cut all three things off at source.
Yeah.
So with Luna and UST, they would have forced them to have had 80-90% in reserves.
Yeah. With regulation, you might have got one event, but not 3 or 4.
Well, I agree, but I think we might have still had all of them.
Yeah, but to a lesser degree.
Exactly. And you look at banks. Banks fold on a regular basis, don't they? But what do banks get from the big governments?
Yeah.
Regulation.
You just look at me like you want to answer it.
I thought you were getting up in disgust and walking out.
No.
Brogan storms off stream in disagreement.
I wanted from a can out, and you said that, and you looked at me like you were expecting an answer. I was just looking at you.
I didn't know where you were going.
Oh, no.
I think banks go out of business. What do governments do to stop this from happening?
Regulate them.
They bail them out. They pump in billions and billions of dollars.
Not always.
No, they sacrifice one.
Yeah.
Like Lehman Brothers.
Yeah.
But they keep the Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan on got bailed out.
Yeah.
In the UK government bought Lloyds, NatWest,
wasn't it?
Royal Bank of Scotland.
Royal Bank of Scotland.
One of them.
Yeah.
So they bought them to stop them from going out of business. Crypto companies don't have anybody to fall back on.
No.
So they have to be 100 times more self-reliant than with the governments. And if we are going to regulate them, where's the protection going to come in? Are you going to regulate them the way that you regulate banks? And if you're going to regulate them the same way you regulate banks...
regulate the banks as well.
No, but are they going to provide the same
sort
cover?
of reversibility? Like how are you going to reverse a crypto
It's not going to be enough.
Exactly. So you're going to bail out the bank. You're going to make crypto companies adhere to the same rules as banks, but not give them the
Can't do that.
bailout. So you're going to have one set of rules. This is getting back to the regulation things again. So you're going to have stricter regulations on them.
Yeah.
They're going to need bigger reserves.
Yeah.
They're going to need client accounts which are audited on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You're going to send the cost base through the roof trying to do this. But on the other side, you're giving them no support whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to end up.
And what the crypto companies should do is embrace that idea.
They
Not
should
start yelping that this is unfair on us. Embrace it.
And work
then eventually, once they're at that point, then they can kill the banks.
Yeah. Now, CZ mentioned, or somebody mentioned about CZ, the CEO of Binance.
It's wrong that a bank can only have 10% or 1% or 10%.
Yeah.
That's just criminal.
It is. Absolutely.
Everybody should be covered by, like you say, 1 for 1.
Yeah. Exactly. Because otherwise there's a bank run and the bank closes its doors.
Yep.
Now, CZ, in his defence, they have released what they own.
Yes.
Not what they hold in people's, which we're going to get onto in a minute. They've got $61 billion in cash in their reserves. So you have people like CZ and Crypto.com as well, and Kraken and KuCoin, who are self-regulating themselves.
And what are they calling this?
They're going. This proof of reserve,
right,
is something which we're going to get onto. But the point of the matter is, you've got self-regulation. I think gaming do it quite a bit as well. Self-regulation works when the interested parties are trying to benefit the entire industry, because it doesn't benefit anyone. FCX crashing or Celsius or BlockFi, it doesn't benefit anyone. It kills the industry. So self-regulation works, and I think out of this, and USDT and USDC, believe it or not, they were the first people to actually go down this proof of reserve. Because they're showing, look, we're backed by this. Now, if you get the top 8 or 10 exchanges to come on board and self-regulate themselves,
So refresh camera because you're really lagging.
that's because it's bored of listening to me. I think. So if you get 8 or 10 of these exchanges and these stable coins together and create its own body,
Yep.
I think that would be the best body to then go and talk to the regulators. So the regulators don't come in and carte blanche bring in laws that they don't understand.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how it works in gaming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Betting, we mean by gaming.
Yeah, because they did the limits on
Yeah.
how much you can bet.
Yeah.
That was brought in.
All the safeguarding's being done together.
Exactly.
The advertising campaign for safeguarding.
Yeah. Which is a good thing.
Yep.
But they're allowed to do that with the regulators.
Yeah.
And I think in crypto, we need the regulators to come on board with
Correct.
the gaming companies.
Yeah.
Like Binance. Binance are going around the world training law enforcement in different countries on how to work with Binance to stop fraud. That's how it should be. So there needs to be some kind of symbiotic relationship or it's never going to work.
No.
Next one.
This is all you now.
All right. Crypto exchanges scramble to compile proof of reserves as FTX contagion grips markets. 9 prominent exchanges said they will publish proof of their reserve holdings in the next month. Crypto exchanges are now scrambling to publicly publish their fund reserves as insolvency fears grapple crypto investors following contagion risks stemming from liquidity issues at FTX. Binance, Gate.io, KuCoin, Poloniex, BitGet, Huobi, OKX, Deribit, and Bybit.
Since that article, can I just say, does it mention crypto.com?
No.
They're on the list. Does it mention KuCoin?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So there's 9 there, did you say?
Yes.
So if you had crypto.com in, that's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 9?
So that, for me,
Yeah, 9.
massive confidence.
Yeah.
Massive confidence. Sorry.
Have separately issued statements that they would publish their Merkle Tree reserve certificates to increase transparency.
So, before you go any further,
Tree reserves.
Should I show the Trust Explorer thing as well while
Yeah.
I'm talking about it?
so just before you start, I
Yeah.
think this Merkle is the ghost out of Harry Potter.
You said that earlier.
Who do you think it
It's
is?
the German former Chancellor.
And what is Merkle?
So, a Merkle Tree is a form of encryption and decryption. It was released, I think it's 1970. It got made by a guy called Merkle. One of the first encryption methods, which uses a thing called a key, where you have a piece of data and you do some sort of operation on it with a value. It could be, I don't know, it could be a word, Bitcoin, and you do some sort of method and you get a value out of it. But with this key, you can either decrypt or encrypt it. But the way this works is you basically have all your data and you split it up into sections.
So in this instance, it would be all of their different amounts of cryptocurrency that they've
Yes.
got on their books.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think on a wider scale, they would do something like that. I don't know if the tree can get bigger. So what we have here, we have like a tree with 4 leaves.
It's on the screen up there.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And it's got a couple branches. This is a small scale. I think this is only for like 1 user. But I think it might be able to get bigger. I'm not too sure. Basically, each leaf is the bottom one, and it's basically an encryption of the user. So it encrypts the user's ID, and then it appends whatever value you want to encrypt, like how much Bitcoin they have, and then underscore the Bitcoin, for example, and then it encrypts that again, and that's one of the leaves. So the 5FB93, that would be your ID hashed with your Bitcoin price hashed again.
And why do they have to use the Merkle system to tell us how much money they've got?
Because it's quite authentic.
Is it what's it called? Immutable?
Yes. I don't know if there's any because one of the immutable pieces of data you can use is time. Obviously, you can't go back in time.
Yeah.
Things like that. And,
So basically they're doing it to create a snapshot.
Yes, I mean,
Right.
another way. So there's pseudo random. So I'm getting into a bit of a rabbit hole here, but the way computers produce random numbers is called pseudo random because it's not actually random. But one of the true ways you can produce a random number is atmospheric noise. So I don't know. I assume in one of these leaves they use some sort of unique piece of data to encrypt it. Otherwise, you can change it. But obviously the keys are private, so you can't replicate it unless you don't know the keys. I think there's going to be 2 keys. So you can't replicate data, but you can prove it to
Okay.
authorized bodies who know how it should look.
So this is basically like going back to the auditor over here. So this is like sending in an auditor, but not a corrupt auditor or a human being that can be corrupted.
Yeah.
This is like sending in a computer to audit their reserves, yeah?
Yeah.
And then it's using a timestamp and cryptocurrency to encrypt it in a way
And authenticate.
which is authenticating it.
Yeah.
And they're all using the same company to do this, aren't they?
Trust Explorer or something.
No, sorry. There's a physical company.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
Elder, somebody or other.
there is a link on this page. Well, also what I'm showing. Let's just get back to it really quickly. There's this little box here. So this would be a way. I think if you to show this, let's say this physical company, or the exchange, or whoever wants to see it, this is how you produce your Merkle leaf. I think this is just a unique piece of data which they can confirm. So like I said, the hash user ID. So your user ID in this case is Satoshi, and then they encrypt that, and then you see where it says my Merkle leaf. It's got the hashed ID, and then the BTC balance,
Okay.
and that's a leaf. So basically, a leaf is just the double encryption of whatever you want to hold, and then it makes this little tree.
And that is immutable,
Yes.
which they're then getting audited again by a third party. And that's what all of these companies have signed up to, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So
To
Bitcoin.
voluntarily release, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which will then prove what value they actually hold
Yes.
correct.
to offset any run that they have against them.
Yeah.
So the Merkle tree is used by
Phenomenal,
Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Sorry?
It says the trees are used by Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
Two biggest cryptos ever. So it's being used
Okay.
in the industry.
Okay, and then going back to their article, how does
Yes.
that carry on?
Okay.
Thank you for that description.
Yeah.
It was very good, that.
Now I understand now.
It
Yeah.
was supposed to be 30 seconds before we started the stream. We
Doesn't
said
matter.
30 seconds, But
We-
I had to concentrate.
I did.
I think it possibly looked like a glazed over, but I didn't.
No.
I understood it.
So basically, it creates an immutable record
Yeah.
with a date of
And
how
doubles down.
and doubles down by getting a third party in to
Yeah.
confirm that they are recording the right information.
Very impressive, that.
Yeah,
That's
It's
way
quite-
over and above what banks and things like that are doing.
Yeah.
correct.
I mean, if you go to Wikipedia and look it up, you get a bunch of formulas.
We're not going to do that.
So yeah,
We're going to
ignore
take your word for it.
that. Yeah. Where was I? Yes. Okay. So crypto exchange Binance founder CZ urged industry players to provide proof of reserves following Tuesday's events involving FTX and Binance. FTX came under scrutiny following a CoinDesk report last week that found the balance sheet of Alameda Research. Alameda rested on a foundation largely made up of a coin that a sister company invented, not an independent asset like a fiat currency or another crypto. Stablecoin issuer Circle, which counts FTX as an investor, played down its exposure to the troubled exchange along with rival Tether and crypto exchange Coinbase.
See, there's one weird and wonderful thing about a lot of this which I've not heard mentioned. So there is a company which was used by Celsius and a few others. And again, Brogan would probably give a better technical explanation of it. And what you do is, it's like an escrow account for crypto.
Right.
So you have 10 Bitcoin, and FTX want to lend against that 10 Bitcoin. And you basically put this 10 Bitcoin into escrow, and FTX then have the collateral based on that. But the 10 Bitcoin is never released to FTX. Now, this was used by Celsius quite a lot, and I imagine it was used by Voyager and BlockFi and Nexo and people like that. In this instance, because this has never happened before, again, with escrow, I don't understand how this works. If one side of that escrow goes bust, does the other side immediately get their funds back? Because it's used in collateral. It's a bit of a... I've not read about it anywhere.
No, I haven't.
So that might be something for us to find out.
Maybe next stream. Figure it out.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? Because traditional companies would not want you to see, and banks, as Julian's just said, traditional banks and companies wouldn't want you to see how much is on your books.
How little.
Or how little is on your books, because that can be used by competitors, it can be used by the media to basically say you're going out of business, or you're small, or you're shrinking, whatever. What do you think?
I think transparent in an industry like this where it's all held online, I think like transparency is extremely important. So showing these authenticated documents, authenticated by Merkel, things like that. So value. So what I'm trying to say is validated, authenticated documents to prove. I mean, obviously, yeah, like you said, it might show growth or shrinking of a company or exchange or whatever it would be. However, I feel like it is important for users and, well, maybe obviously not every user might understand what they're looking at, but I feel like for the community, it's very important to have transparency of a company situation. Yeah, I mean, I think it's needed.
Okay, so I'll ask Julian the less technical question, because you're the IT expert here. Computers don't lie. Auditors can. Do you think this immutable proof of funds is something that we should see in other types of businesses?
Yeah.
And do you think it's a political reason why we haven't?
Well, I didn't know it existed.
What, the proof of reserves?
This whole technology and what have you, I didn't know it even existed.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody's been suppressing this idea. The fact that this has come out this week, I think, turns that frown massively upside down. Genuinely, I think it does. It's a game changer.
Well, see what the irony is that
most people with a bank account believe that their money is sat on a shelf within the bank.
Yeah.
It had come as horrendous news to them to realise that their money's not there, it's just on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
This is actually creating what they believe exists.
But this is why I think banks will never use it, because banks are
grossly,
what's the word, inefficient.
Yeah.
Grossly inefficient, that they can't possibly hold. I think there was kickback when, after the 2008 crash, banks were told that they needed to up their reserves. And I think they were told to up it from 1 to 3% or 1 to 5%.
It's just ridiculous.
And it would have bankrupted banks. That's how much money they were. So the margins they run on are so fine that anything that happens either side, credit crunch, house prices, house market crash, anything like that, will kill banks, because they're all built on leverage. I think leverage. What do they call it in America? Leverage. Yeah. So the crypto bull run is built on leverage, because you use the leverage to go up and up and up, and the bear market is the deleveraging of everything all the way down, and that's how it's been. So everything is basically a stack of cards. Yeah. And now we're just seeing everything get blown away, and what's left is going to be the proof of reserve system.
Brilliant idea.
Which is a brilliant idea. It's going to be more transparency. CZ publishes his internal emails on Twitter. Now you might think that, maybe it's a bit unprofessional. It's not. It's telling people what's going on inside his company. And I'm not saying everybody should do it, but if you look at Sam Bankman-Fried and the underhand relationship he's had, how is Gary Gensler allowed to meet with a private company and carry out these meetings as a public servant and nobody know about it? It's ridiculous. Anyway, we've got more good news next. Have we got any more shows?
We have a show. We have a show of. Let me read the agenda thing. We have fractionalized reserves.
Yes. I think this is a quick tweet.
Yeah, very quick. So FTX reckless, yes, but banks reserves are even worse. Lol. 1% versus 10%. Bitcoin self-custody fixes fractional reserves. And we have a photo. It basically just says FTX having 10% in reserves, and then official website of some sort of I don't know, government body or something like that, basically saying banks are currently required to hold a minimum of 1% reserves.
1% reserves, which is ridiculous.
It is.
And if this can happen to FTX, the only reason it doesn't happen to banks is that the government's bailed them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can't ever have that situation in crypto, because crypto has to stand alone, and anything it does, it'll be punished for. So it has to operate in a completely different way to banks.
But I hope it does. That's the thing that I don't want to see happening here. That they scream that we're having to do more than banks. Just do it. Because eventually your time will then come.
Yeah. And banks will be finished.
Yeah, and my impression from the guy at Binance is that he's going to drive that in that direction.
Yeah. The scary thing is that the more that banks move towards crypto,
Yeah.
if they move towards crypto with this ethos of 1% fractional reserves,
They're FTX.
they're FTX. It's all going to happen again.
Yeah.
Next.
cycle? All right.
I'm just trying to not drag this out
Yeah.
to 2
Well,
hour.
how long we?
This is like a 2 hour safari special, this one. I think
we-
we're just over an hour. We're
Yeah,
doing
an hour
really
and
well.
7, yeah.
We're doing well.
Fed seen slowing rate hike pace as inflation eases.
This is the best bit of news
Yeah. It
hidden
is.
in the quagmire
Yeah.
of the bloodbath.
Yeah.
And it's this bit of news has been 12 months in the making.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
A larger than expected drop in consumer inflation last month will likely prompt the Federal Reserve to pare down future interest rate increases as the impact of its swift monetary tightening this year begins to take hold.
Great news.
The monthly pace of core inflation that excludes volatile food and energy costs dropped by half to 0.3% in October from 0.6%. This is not some kind of
Outlier.
Wrote Omar of Inflation Insights.
It's nothing like this.
Hmm?
Joke for your wife.
It was a song.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing because the 3 people watching us will just immediately turn off.
How TV will blow up.
And the TV will go off.
Anyway,
Exactly.
what did Omar say?
This is the start of lower prints. The Fed is now seen shifting to a half-point rate hike next month,
Great
and
news.
quarter-point hikes after that. Rate futures contracts are now pricing in a top policy rate at the 4.75% to 5% range next March, lower than the 5% plus range seen before the report, and interest rate cuts in the second half of the year. Fed officials have said they want convincing evidence that inflation is declining before altering their approach, and still believe returning inflation to the 2% target will require keeping rates at a restrictive level for a potentially extended period of time.
This has changed as well since the article was written.
The hikes in interest rates are beginning to bite into the economy and lower inflation as consumers become more frugal, said Peter Cardillo, chief market economist at Spartan Capital Securities. I'm in the camp of wanting to get to what would clearly be a restrictive stance with a policy rate somewhere north of 4ish, 4.5%, and then I would be okay with taking a brief pause, seeing how things are moving, he said.
Is that the end of the article?
That is it. Yeah.
So, very quickly, the US government are weighing up whether they will accept a 3% baseline inflation over 2%. So 2% is like a global standard for inflation. The American government are now trying to shift this the same way that they've changed the definition of a recession. A recession is 2 quarters of negative growth.
Yep.
It's not that anymore. The American government changed that.
What is it? Full year?
They've just, I don't know, they just moved the bars on the abacus around and given it back to Joe Biden to play with when he's in his cot.
Yeah.
So 3%, they're looking at a 3% baseline inflation figure because they think it's going to be too difficult to get down to 2%. The big thing about this is the more interest rates go up, the more interest the American government, UK government has to pay on its debt. And at the minute, it's billions, that they have to pay in interest every year. So there comes a point where they can't afford to pay off the debt. So 4 to 5%, it's never going to go any higher than that because it will bankrupt everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're praying that this 4.5%, 5%
Is enough.
is enough to stall the economy which in a terrible way means we have to see more redundancies,
Yep.
less jobs. The issue we've got at the minute is nobody wants to work.
No.
There's hundreds of thousands of jobs everywhere and nobody wants to do them. And until that comes down and companies start laying off staff, we're going to see these rates go up.
I mean, we've seen that. Or I know when in the programming industry or software development, Facebook are laying off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Amazon
Meta people let off 11,000, didn't they?
Yeah,
this
11,000.
week? Meta.
Yep.
Yeah. Facebook let off 11,000. Amazon, I think, as well. Netflix,
Twitter.
Twitter especially.
11,000. It's huge, isn't it?
They're letting off a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
It's
Mm.
got to happen.
high employment, high
It's gotta
unemployment.
happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we need a reset to bring the cost base down,
Yeah.
to then start to make money again, to then start to hire people on.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're in this situation. But this is the best bit of news of the week. There's nothing better than this. We've had a double top.
Mm.
So what that means is inflation's gone like that. It's come down again. It's tricked people. It's gone back up, and now it's going to come down.
Okay.
So we could be at 3 or 4% inflation by June next year, and at that point, that's when we can start talking about a recovery, because at that point we've got inflation under control. Then they have the problem if they've got to start bringing down interest rates to make money cheap enough for companies to then start getting loans, etc. So it's all good news.
Yep.
Anything else to add?
We have one show.
One show. What does the show say?
USD index has broken a 9-month uptrend. Mega bullish for Bitcoin. If it
Oh,
wasn't
yes.
for FTX right now,
That's right.
Bitcoin is cheap.
The Dixie.
Yes.
Have you got that on screen?
Yes, I got the photo.
So the Dixie, we've mentioned it before.
Talked about the Dixie.
Do you know what the Dixie is?
I can't remember.
So basically, it's the US dollar
Yeah.
versus a basket of worldwide currencies.
Yeah.
The euro, the pound, the Japanese yen.
Yep.
And it's the relative strength of the dollar against the rest of the world currencies, because the dollar is the reserve currency.
Yeah.
And it was going parabolic, as you can see from here.
Yeah.
And now it's trashed,
Oh dear.
which is good,
Hooray.
because well, what happens to the American economy if the dollar becomes too powerful? Imports go through the roof.
Yeah.
Sorry, the cost of imports
Cost of it goes through the roof.
goes through the roof,
Yeah.
which pushes up inflation. So it's in nobody's best interests for this to happen.
At all.
So good news,
Yeah.
and we want to see it come down a bit further, maybe to about 100. I think it's on 105 or something like that.
Yeah.
Jabroni just got rid of it off the screen. It's
Yeah,
about
like
100 or
15
something like
seconds ago.
that. So it's great news for everybody
Yeah.
that this is happening. So inflation's coming down, the Dixie's coming down, everything would start to show signs of recovery
But no.
if it wasn't for
SPF.
one little American
Graham
Kevin
Hill.
Keegan lookalike who has trashed his company by being greedy and underhand.
I really want to find that tweet
Yeah.
of him turning into just chunking out.
We will
Yeah.
put that on Wednesday's stream.
Okay.
Right, do we have any quick questions before
do.
we
Do
sign
we?
off?
We all
I'm
have the same
struggling. I
question.
need Chris for something to wake me back up.
I've got no water to throw at you.
No,
I
no.
do.
Yeah,
No.
but it's got to go all over this electrical equipment. That's really dangerous.
What's questions?
They're all the same.
Oh,
So do you want to do like that? Or?
start with Julian.
Okay.
And
Why
then
are
he
you
can-
why are you staying in crypto?
Because it's all tied up for 3 months.
Why are you staying in crypto?
Well, it is. It's in there trying to earn its little bit of interest. But I can't get at it for 3 months.
So I'm going to give you a sensible
So
answer.
I'm not looking at it, as I told you the other day. With the
Except we're
needles.
telling you twice a week what it is.
Yeah, go on.
Crypto is the last opportunity for you to keep control over your own money. Because once central bank digital currencies come in and we get rid of paper money and coins and things like that, the government is going to know everything you do with your money,
Yeah.
which is a bad thing.
It won't be as far as I'm concerned because I don't do anything naughty. So somebody like you, maybe.
Brogan, why are you in crypto?
Me? All right. Money, return, and future career.
Good answers. I like them.
Yeah.
We're done.
We don't.
You-
Have we not got
have
time
you-
for my joke? We said we'd
I
make
thought you
time
said-
for my
did
joke.
you- say what you...
Yeah, I did.
Oh, can you say it again? I've got you on camera now.
I'm in crypto because I see it as the last opportunity
Oh, you did say it.
You
Yeah.
did say
to
it,
move
yeah.
our
I'm
wealth.
still on Julian then.
Had you had a bit of a turn-off moment as well, like I did?
Yeah, no, because I put you on the camera because you said your answer, and I
Right.
thought you would give it. I thought you gave him a better answer.
He's fading. He needs to go back to bed. Look at him.
Talking of crisps,
Oh wait, who?
do you
Go
know
on.
what Donald Trump looks like?
Donald Trump looks like. Let me think.
A quaver sat on top of a what's-it.
I hope the one person. There were a few people.
There was
watching us.
we had a max of 4,
Really?
and we have 2 of us. So we've
Yeah.
had 2 people.
Impressive.
So
And
we've
then
got 1 person right now.
they both turned off when you said because I can't get the money out of crypto. Are we done? Do the sign off.
Okay.
Actually, before you do, I've got one thing to say. We've no idea what we're going to talk about on
Absolutely
Wednesday.
none.
No idea. We're not
Well,
going to know.
we'll wait till an hour.
Hour
Or the
before?
day before.
Oh, I thought you said hour before. It's probably best.
Who knows what's going to happen on Wednesday?
Nice, very true.
We could be sat here talking about how crypto's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we having a bet to see where Bitcoin is again?
No,
No. Okay.
I'm not. You can. How much do you think Bitcoin's going to be worth next Wednesday?
On Wednesday, I think it's going to be about, what's it today? 16.8?
16,800.
17.
16,800.
It's going to start crabbing again.
11,000.
It's 2 years now. The last one switched off.
Yeah,
At
11,000.
11,000.
Yeah.
Huh?
It is negativity.
Yeah, there's 2 years now.
Go on. Finish us off.
Okay.
Apply the coup d'etat or coup de grace, whatever it's called.
Thank you. Sorry, I said thank you. Looked at the 2 viewers. I was about to say thank everyone for watching. I realised it's us. But people obviously watch it after we've streamed.
Yeah,
they do.
exactly.
Hundreds
Thank
of
you.
millions of people watch us.
Oh yeah, after we upload it, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Thank you everyone for watching. Like, subscribe. Anyone want to say?
Click and like.
Nothing else to
Click
say.
and like.
Don't forget to do your other thing, your
Yeah,
notifications.
he's talking down there.
Done now.
Alright, fine. Make sure you turn notifications on. So whenever we upload a video, a short, or no, not shorts, a video or a just stop pointing.
I'm pointing to where the buttons are.
You do that. Put notifications. Subscribe here.
You look like that I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
This is taking a long time to get us off air.
Best outro I've ever had. I'm just spanning him out because the last two things he's done, he's cut me off midstream. Look. Go on.
Subscribe here. Notifications
Oh,
here.
my word.
Comment down here. Click off up here. Goodbye.
I think we should click off.
Yeah, I think we should.
I'm not going to turn the stream off. I'm going to actually go to the outro. Anyone want to say anything before we leave?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.